Hey everybody, I'm Wes Hagen. I'm the vineyard manager and winemaker here at Clos Pepe Vineyards and Clos Pepe Estate Wines. This is Oliver. He is my wife's service dog and an amazing little critter, and I thought he should come and say hello to everybody too. Since we are talking about organic, sustainable, and biodynamic viticulture this week, part 2, I should mention it is April 21st, Monday. Actually, it's not. It's actually Friday the 18th. But I'm doing my Monday video a little bit early because I'm going to be at a charity golf event on Monday, trying to remember how to hit a little white golf ball and ruining a very otherwise pleasant walk. So last week we talked a little about organic and sustainable and biodynamic, and I gave you my definitions of them. Today I want to talk a little bit about application, and not only how those varying categories of viticultural production are used around the world, but how they're used specifically here at Clos Pepe. So today we're going to talk a little bit about specific applications of sustainable, organic, and biodynamic. So let's talk first about sustainable. So again, sustainable can be something that you use as a lowercase s that just means that you're careful about what you spray. Sustainable really doesn't have much of a definition that you can bring in, except really you can say that people that are interested in sustainability they're interested in making sure that what they're doing in the vineyard has the ability to remain in perpetuity, and that farm can continue to produce delicious things. I'm going to put Oliver down. You ready, buddy? Okay, don't hit the camera. Good boy. And so sustainability is kind of all over the place. The way that we look at sustainability here is whatever we do has an impact on the vineyard. We want to encourage owl box production. We want to put bat boxes up. We want to have feral cats on the property. We want birds of prey. All these things on the property are going to make a huge impact. So if we have 13 feral cats, we stop seeing squirrels and gophers. If we have owls that are breeding, a breeding pair of owls can take 25 rodents a night. So all these things, sort of sustainability really means diversity to me. That means encouraging good insects and bad insects so they're chasing each other. Getting the cats out here to chase the birds and the squirrels and everything else. So diversity means that there's not one species out here. There's no monoculture. So there's constantly sort of a give and a take and a battle out here. So that's a big part of the way that we apply sustainability here at Clos Pepe. Organic is generally a prescriptive system of agriculture that demands almost more what you don't do than what you do. It's a little difficult for me because I'm much more into the prescriptive instead of the descriptive, and as soon as people tell me what I can't do, generally that's something that I'm not a big fan of. But organic obviously has a place, obviously focusing on what you don't need to do. The problem with organic here is we have a lot of mildew and rot pressure at Clos Pepe, so what we find is the organic has a positive and a negative impact on strong mildew and botrytis or rot pressure. Here's the good. The good is organic generally requires us to use things that are absolutely, what's the term I'm looking for, that are elemental. Elemental sulfur, elemental copper. If we apply elemental sulfur and elemental copper, the cool stuff about elemental is the disease can never adapt to something elemental. So grapevines and the mildew on the grapevines can never adapt to elemental sulfur or elemental copper. So we can use elemental sulfur and copper in perpetuity. Also elemental, say, mineral oil in the form of stylet oil is also an excellent organic product because you're not going to see that the mildew is adapting to it and becoming resistant. On the bad side, once you are confirmed into that sort of organic side, you have very limited options. Once the vine goes through veraison and the grapes start softening, I don't want to use sulfur I don't want to use sulfur or certain elemental products on the vineyard. I find we get much better results using basically a low impact chemical that maybe would last 3 to 4 times longer than the organic equivalent. So if we're spraying sulfur at the end of the season, we may get 5 or 6 days of control from the sulfur, but if we use a product like Flint or Rally, we may get 14 to 21 days, which means using the tractor less often, less compaction. So I'm using sort of fine-tuning our viticultural practices for the best practice to give our best results, but also the least amount of sulfur or least amount of diesel usage and least amount of use of our tractor in the field. Running a tractor is expensive, requires a lot of diesel, and can be dangerous for the applicator. And then, of course, beyond just what we're talking about with the organic, we don't really do any biodynamic preparations here. Again, I believe compost works, but I don't really believe that Rudolf Steiner, someone who had no formal education in agronomy or agriculture, I don't really think of much of his ideas, sort of theosophy, biodynamics, and how they react. But what the last thing I wanted to talk about today, so the application here is fine-tuning our cultural practices to reduce chemical inputs, to maximize quality and maximize deliciousness, which to us means using elements of sustainable and conventional and organic, by making organic compost, by making applications of that, by keeping our chemicals minimized, and to do everything we can to observe the vineyard, engage ourselves in the farming of fruit, and to make the best fruit we can here at Clos Pepe, being the Chardonnay and the Pinot Noir. But the last thing I wanted to talk about in sustainability is also the idea of social sustainability. That we have about half an acre on the bottom of the property that we allow our employees to grow all their own food here at the Clos. So we think if they're growing organic berries and organic tomatoes and melons and strawberries and tomatoes and peppers and onions, all these things that our crew is farming for their own consumption and their family's consumption, we think makes them better farmers here at Clos Pepe. So I know people that farm biodynamically that treat their employees like crap, and I don't think that's at all fair. I think just because people aren't pushing paper in a stall someplace, we give our full-time employees medical, dental, and vision benefits for them and their whole family once they've worked here for at least 6 months. And we think just because they're not somehow involved in some corporate entity that they shouldn't get benefits is horrible. We think that they're working harder than just about anywhere on this planet to farm our fruit. And we want the same guys here farming our fruit every year, so we don't have to retrain an itinerant crew. That we're fine-tuning our cultural practices, fine-tuning our shoot removal, fine-tuning our leaf removal, fine-tuning our shoot positioning, fine-tuning our crop level, fine-tuning our pruning. So the guys that are doing the pruning, the guys that are doing all the field work, are being fine-tuned every year and not being retrained. So social sustainability and a mix between organic and sustainable is really what we do here at Clos Pepe. If you have questions about anything that we do or any of the farming, you can check my written blogs from a couple years ago over at winemakermag.com, or all of my last 2 years of video blogs here at Clos Pepe at clospepe.com. So have a wonderful spring. Next week we'll probably start talking about flowering, because believe it or not, I have seen a few flowers out in the vineyard. We're about a month and a half early for flowering, so we're going to have to get our barrels ready for an August harvest. Maybe a little early this year. So have a great time out there. You don't worry about the grapes. Let us do so. Just keep drinking great wine. Talk to you next week. Bye.